In the late 1700s, a German doctor named Samuel Hahnemann began publishing articles about a new treatment approach he called homeopathy. Hahnemann's theory had two central hypotheses. First, the treatment for the ailment should be a dose of something that might cause that ailment. And second, diluted medicine are more powerful than concentrated ones. So, a homeopathic remedy for insomnia might include an extremely diluted solution of caffeine. Over the following 300 years, numerous physicians and patients turned to homeopathy, and entire hospitals are built to focus on homeopathic treatments. But despite all this, many studies have shown that homeopathy had no therapeutic effect, and homeopathic treatments often perform no better than placebos. So why do so many practitioners and institutions still support this practice? The answer is that homeopathy is a pseudoscience, a collection of theories, methods, and assumptions that appear scientific but aren't. In the worst cases, pseudoscience practitioners encourage this confusion to exploit people, but even when they are well-intentioned, pseudoscience still prevent people from getting the help they need. So how are you supposed to tell what's science and what's pseudoscience? This question is known as a demarcation problem, and there is no easy answer. Part of the issue is that defining science is surprisingly tricky. There is a common idea that all science should, in some form or another, be related to testing against empirical evidence. But some scientific activities are primarily theoretical, and different disciplines approach empiricism with varying goals, methodologies, and standards. 20th century philosopher Karl Popper tried to solve the demarcation problem with a simple rule. He argued that in order for a theory to be scientific, it must be falsifiable or be able to prove them wrong. This requires a theory to make specific predictions. For example, if you are theorizing that the Earth revolves around the Sun, you should be able to for example, if you are theorizing that the Earth revolves around the Sun, you should be able to predict the path of other celestial bodies in the night sky. This could then be disproven based on whether or not your prediction corresponds to your observations. Popper's falsification criterion is a great way to identify pseudoscientific fields like astrology, which makes overly broad predictions that adapt to any observation. However, falsification alone doesn't completely solve the demarcation issue. Many things we now consider science were once untestable due to the lack of knowledge or technology. Fortunately, there are other factors you can use to identify pseudoscience, including how a field responds to criticism. Scientists should always be open Scientists should always be open to the possibility that new observations could change what they previously thought, and thoroughly disproven theories should be rejected in favor of new explanations. Conversely, pseudoscientific theories are often continually modified to explain away any contradictory results. This kind of behavior shows a resistance to what philosopher Helen Longino calls transformative criticism. Pseudoscientific fields don't seek to address their internal biases or meaningfully engage in transparent peer review. Another key marker of science is overall consistency. Science relies on the network of shared information that ongoing research develops across disciplines. But pseudoscience often ignores or denies this shared pool of data. For example, creationists claim that animals didn't evolve from a common ancestor, and the Earth is less than 20,000 years old. But these claims contradict a huge amount of evidence that cross multiple scientific disciplines, including geology, paleontology, and biology. While the scientific method is our most reliable tool to analyze empirical evidence from the world around us, it certainly doesn't reveal everything about the human condition. Faith-based beliefs can play an important role in our lives and cultural traditions, but the reason it's so important to draw a line is that people often dress up a belief system as science in effort to manipulate others or undermine legitimate scientific discoveries, even in cases where this might seem harmless. And even in cases where this might seem harmless, legitimizing pseudoscience can impede genuine scientific progress. In a world where it's increasingly difficult to tell fact from fiction, it's essential to keep your critical thinking skills sharp. So, the next time you hear an amazing new claim, ask yourself, could we test this? Are the individual behind this steadily updating their claims with new findings? Is this consistent with a broader scientific understanding of the world? Because looking scientific and actual being scientific are two very different things.